Turbo and 2K show.
What's up, 2K crew? It is that time of the week again, and as you can see, if you are one of the handful watching live, I am rolling solo tonight. Mr. Kyle 2K's Kaler had a root canal done today, so speedy recovery, my friend. We will see you next week. But for those of you that are watching live, or for those of you on the podcast side, welcome, hello, welcome. My name is Ryan Turbo Jackson. I'm going to be your host tonight on the Turbo and 2K show. We are coming live from the 643 studio here at the Marcellus News Office, and a big shout out to them. And if you're interested in the only newspaper that cares about Marcellus, go to marcellusnews.com. I believe you can get a virtual subscription to the newspaper, as well as one mailed out to your mailbox. Go ahead and visit that, and let's spread the word on this awesome little town. I got a lot to go over tonight. I'm really excited. Even though 2Ks is not going to be with us, I guarantee he'll be with us in spirit, and he actually him and the kids might be watching us. Who knows? Or he might be watching this Michigan basketball game, which started out like an absolute dumpster fire. But Michigan has decided to play a little defense and has clawed their way back to within 4, I believe. So that is very, very awesome. But for those of you that are watching live, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, so that you get notified every time we go live. And if you're feeling extra saucy, go to buyturbobeer.com. You'll be supporting the show financially. We'll give you a big shout out on the show, and you will be signed up for my weekly blog, which you do not need to buy us a beer at buyturbobeer.com. You can sign up for the weekly blog without that, but while you're there, it's a one-time donation. You can set up a reoccurring one, whatever you want. Every little bit helps, and we would definitely appreciate it. But that's not why we're here, ladies and gentlemen. We're not here for the money. We're here to talk about some motherfucking football this week. And yes, if you did join us last week, you will notice that the bottom tiles are exactly the same. I totally forgot to update them. So when it says NFC right here, we're just going to picture that as Saturday's games. The AFC is Sunday's games. National title, we're just going to wipe that one out. Just gonna wipe that one out, act like it's not even here, and yeah, we're gonna jump into this, and I got some tweets to show you along the way. So why not just jump into it? Let me bring up the schedule of events here. Where we at? ESPN, NFL football. All right, Saturday we kick off with Jags and Chiefs at 4:30 on NBC, followed by the Giants and Eagles at 8:15 on Fox. And on Sunday we've got Bengals Bills at 3 and Cowboys 49ers at 6:30. Now, what jumped off to me with this is I really wish we did have NFL rights. I think it'd be really, really cool if we could actually put together a montage of, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin against, Joe Montana, Steve Young, that crew, Jerry Rice. That would be totally awesome, but we don't. So we'll just have to reminisce and talk about it without the help of visual aids. But yeah, I'm super excited for all of these games, and we will get into each and every one of them, talk about the odds, break them down, give you my picks as well, and kind of give you a little preview as to what may go down on championship weekend, because we are on divisional, the divisional weekend. Last weekend was super wild card weekend, and yeah, that was. Actually, let's take a trip down this. We started out Saturday, Seahawks at the 49ers. The 49ers just kind of had their way with the Seahawks. This really wasn't even a game. We're seeing Brock Purdy play at a level that I don't think we've seen any rookie quarterback even recently, with kind of the exception of Ben Roethlisberger. Kind of in the same boat, to be honest with you. He has a really, really good crew around him. Just don't mess it up. Don't give the ball away, and you will have success. And I think that even out of all of the teams here that played last weekend, I do believe that the 49ers do have the best roster, the best coach, and we're seeing that this young Brock Purdy, which I believe today I saw on Sports Card Twitter today, more Brock Purdy cards than any other cards shown on Card Twitter. So everyone is, and I thoroughly enjoy this kid. I really, really do. Not only because of his story, Mr. Irrelevant was the last pick in the draft last year, but just to come in and you're the third string quarterback. Can you imagine the lack of reps this dude is getting throughout the preseason? Rookie training camp probably got some. Training camp probably not a whole lot. As if you remember, it was all about Trey Lance. It was all about Trey Lance, Jimmy G coming back from injury. I didn't even know who this cat was until he stepped foot on the field when Jimmy G got hurt. Had no idea. Full disclosure. And I don't think I'm the only one. That did that. But he's here. He's balling out of his mind. It's very, very awesome to watch. And like I said, really wasn't a game. That one I do believe covered the spread, so that was good to see. If you did take the Niners, which as a host I probably should have went back, listened to last week's show, or at least wrote down mine and 2K's picks to see how we ended up. I might just do that before next week's show. Do it for this week and last week, just so we have some sort of context. Next up on Saturday was Chargers-Jags, and this was a little bit of a shocker. This one was a little bit of a shocker. I thought the point spread was a little too high on this, if I remember, but we saw we definitely saw a tale of two halves. First half dominated by the Chargers, the second half dominated by the Jags, and just the game itself, we saw Asante Samuel Jr. have 3 interceptions in one half of one game. And normally when a quarterback throws 3 picks, the likelihood of them winning even a regular season game, let alone a playoff game, it goes, I'm sure, is next to nothing. Next to absolutely nothing. But Trevor Lawrence and the boys and Doug Peterson find a way to get a win 31-30 at home. We basically saw Trevor Lawrence, come into his own. I think he, maybe not statistically was very good aside from the interceptions, but we saw him kind of come of age, take a hold of the moment, grab it, run with it, and then put those 3 interceptions and those interceptions and everything behind him, move forward. Which is, there's a lot of NFL vet quarterbacks that couldn't do that. Just couldn't do that, and to see a guy in his second year, essentially his rookie year, because let's kind of throw away last year with the whole Urban Meyer bullshit, and that whole team was just in complete and utter disarray. And to come back and have a season like this is absolutely awesome. And then we jump ahead to Sunday. Dolphins at Bills. Bills get a big win, 34-31. This one was rather up in the air. And let's remember, this was a Dolphins team on their third string quarterback as well. Teddy Bridgewater out with a dislocated or broken thumb, and obviously Tua was out with the concussion protocol. So they were rolling with their third string quarterback. Can't even remember his name. Never heard of him before. And again, going against Josh Allen. And I believe this was the highest spread out of all of these games. And the Bills get a big win by 3. And the thing that sticks out with this game the most is Josh Allen and the turnovers. Josh Allen and the turnovers had, I think, three interceptions and 1 lost fumble, and the lost fumble actually went back for a touchdown, putting the Dolphins ahead. Late in that game. So that's the part of the Bills that scares me. I love Josh Allen. I love him as a player. He is an absolute freak. But does he tend to force things? I think so. And will that come back to haunt him? I'm not sure. This team has an awesome defense, however banged up. I do believe they are getting Micah Hyde back, or got him back last week. Obviously, they're without Von Miller. Jordan Poyer has been banged up, so let's see moving forward how this team handles that, and and they're heading into quite possibly the biggest game this week. So we'll kind of a little prelude to that. Next up on the triple header was the Giants at the Vikings. Giants come away with a big win behind an amazing game from Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes, his best game period as a pro. I believe he had three passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, just led the charge there. It was absolutely just kind of give you some stats. 2 passing touchdowns. Sorry, he went 24-35, 301, 2 passing touchdowns, and 17 rushes for 78 yards. Now, keep in mind, Danny Dimes had 17 rushes and Saquon only had 9. But out of the 2 that Saquon had, 2 of them went for touchdowns. So he did get 53 yards rushing. So and just kind of take a look at the flip side. Kirk Cousins plays a Kirk Cousins game, 31-39, 273, 2 passing touchdowns. But the kind of the big story of this game is Justin Jefferson has 7 catches for 47 yards. It was one of those things that the Giants said, well, you know what, Justin Jefferson is not beating us, and they obviously turned it up and got it going. T.J. Hawkinson did get loose. He had 10 catches for 129 yards. But just kind of an overall, I mean, like I said, neither one of these quarterbacks played badly. And the Vikings had the ball in their hand to win the game, driving down the field late in the game. I believe it was a 4th and 7, 4th and 8, somewhere in there. And if you watch that play, Justin Jefferson is absolutely blanketed with coverage. Osborne is as well. And he throws a little check down to Hawkinson, who was tightly covered as well. And kudos to the linebacker for making the tackle, because if he didn't, Hawkinson doesn't score, but gets that first down quite easily. And who knows where that game would have gone from there. But yeah, it was a very exciting game and a shocking game. Well, I shouldn't really say that, because 2Ks and I both have been, for the last month and a half, trying to figure out who the hell this Vikings team is, because they lose games like this that they really shouldn't. And moving forward, is this the Danny Dimes that we can kind of expect? A lot of the talk on sports talk radio is, this is Daniel Jones' last year on his contract. Is he worth elite quarterback money? I don't know. It's going to be something moving forward that the Giants are going to have to think long and hard about. I mean, they got Saquon. Saquon's kind of the only real household name that kind of pops off. I know that if you are a Giants fan, you're going to correct me very, very harshly, but I don't watch a whole lot of Giants football. I'll be perfectly honest. And as far as fantasy-wise goes, I mean, Slayton might be an option, but yeah, that's it. That's about all I know for the Giants. And to top off Sunday, Ravens at Bengals. Bengals come away with a win, 24-17. I think this is part of the reason why the Ravens fired their offensive coordinator today, just because of the lack of scoring. And it has a lot to do with the lack of Lamar Jackson. Now, what does that say about Lamar and his future with the Ravens? The Ravens brass have come out and said that they're going to do everything possible under the sun to keep Lamar in a Ravens uniform. But he, even before the season started, was kind of requesting guaranteed money like Deshaun Watson. So who knows? Who knows where that ends up? But there might be a whole house cleaning. And I think John Harbaugh is safe. But as far as quarterback, obviously the offensive coordinator, maybe some pieces there kind of get moved. And I don't know. It's a team that has a lot of potential moving forward, but it's like who's on the team? Who's on the team, and where do they go from here? and to kind of put a bow on the weekend. Monday night, kind of the biggest shocker of all the games. Cowboys at Bucks. Cowboys just dismantle the Bucks. And let me get the box score here. Dak again has a career game. 25 of 33, 305 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. He also ran for 1, which was a very, very sneaky quarterback sneak, I believe, on a 4th and goal, which kind of put the game away. Tampa did score kind of a junk time touchdown, so I really don't even count that really. But this was complete and utter domination. This game here in particular is the one that I wanted 2Ks here to kind of put his 2 cents in. He is one of them boys. That is his team. This is his quarterback, and he's been as critical of Dak Prescott as just about anybody. So I was kind of hoping to get his take on it, and hopefully next week we will be able to get his take on it. But let's Pollard and Zeke combined for over 100 yards. Dalton Schultz has a huge game, 7 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup also get into the end zone. So, Andrew, what's up, brother? How we doing? Good to see you back, man. Good to see you. But yeah, let's switch over to the Bucks. Brady goes 35 of 66. A 45-year-old quarterback throwing 66 times. He has 351 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. The interception, I believe, was jinxed by the commentators, saying that Tom Brady has not thrown a red zone interception since 2019, which he was with the New England Patriots at the time. Well, yep, you done jinxed him. And team only had 12 carries. Rashad White had 7. Playoff Lenny had 5. And the whole, if you watch the broadcast leading up to the show, everyone was talking about how they rested Leonard Fournette going down the stretch for this playoff run. Well, you really let him rest one too many weeks, because the season's over. 5 carries. He did have one catch, so he touched the ball 6 times. 6 whole times. And yeah, I don't know what the play calling is. I know you got down early, but if you look at these stats, they weren't even running it early. I don't know, which again, Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, was fired today, so might have a little bit to do with it. Andrew says, just living the dream. Too bad it's a wet one. Yeah. Well, usually my wet dreams, there's a little more skin involved. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But now that we kind of looked back on how we got here, let's look at here. Saturday, like we opened the show with, Jags at Chiefs. And if we take a look at the odds here, I'm looking at let me pull the updated odds up. See if this line has changed at all. Where are we at here? NFL. No, this line is still holding. Actually, both these lines are still holding steady. Everything was the same as noon when I pulled these numbers off. Jacksonville's an 8.5 point favorite, underdog. Chiefs are an 8.5 point favorite, and well rested. The Chiefs had the bye, obviously. And I do find it, I guess it's not kind of odd that both the number 1 seeds play on Saturday, just because they did have the whole week off. But yeah, Jacksonville, 8.5 point dog. I don't know. The Chiefs are kind of historically bad at covering, so that kind of has me worried with that 8.5. If anything, the over-under is 52.5. I think I'd take the over as kind of the safest bet on that one. But the Jags have been playing good defense. It's always that, I don't know if you want to call it cliche, or that teams with momentum tend to play better early, and maybe Jacksonville jumps out to a lead over the Chiefs, but it's hard to bet against Mahomes. It really is. There's many reasons why this team is the number one seed on the AFC side, and I think that number one seed on the AFC side means a whole lot more than it does on the NFC side. Because if you look at these teams in the NFC left, wow, absolutely wow. The road to the Super Bowl is a whole lot harder on the AFC side than it is on the NFC side. So with this one, give me the Jags and the points, even though I do think the Chiefs win. I do think the Chiefs win. In this game, let's see here. I have a couple. Let's do this one here. This is from NFL Total Access. Who's got the edge this Saturday? And it's a graphic of Trevor Lawrence and Pat Mahomes. Their win-loss record since, I think it's the last 6 games. Lawrence is 6-0. Mahomes is 5-0. Their completion percentage is very similar. Lawrence at 66, Mahomes at 70.9. Passing yards per game, Mahomes has a slight edge, 288.4 as compared to 261.2. And their touchdown to interception ratio is very similar, with actually Trevor throwing more touchdowns yet more interceptions. So that's the thing that gets me about that graphic is, yes, both teams are playing well, both quarterbacks are playing well, and let's be honest, both coaches have won Super Bowls. Doug Peterson with the Eagles, and obviously Andy Reid doing his thing. But Andy Reid's been doing it a very long time. And when you go top to bottom, I don't know, this game is very hard to pick. Like I said, I do think the Chiefs squeak out a win. But as far as betting-wise, give me the Jags and the points. Give me the Jags and the points. Andrew says, I got Chiefs and Giants for Saturday winners and Bengals and 49ers for Sunday. All right, brother. All right. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, are you taking these straight up? You taking points? What are we doing? If you're just taking win, if you're just going straight, it's a big difference as opposed to taking points and stuff. But another tidbit from this game. This is from Sunday Night Football on NBC on Twitter. Travis Kelce needs 99 receiving yards to pass Rob Gronkowski for the most by a tight end in NFL playoff history. Jerry Rice is atop of that list, followed by Julian Edelman, followed by Gronk, followed by Michael Irvin, and then followed by Travis Kelce. Now, it goes without saying that if Kelce needs 99 more yards to pass Gronk, he would slide into that third spot, overcoming Michael Irvin as well. So, yeah, it's going to be cool to see. But yeah, I think regardless, it's going to be a great game. But as far as picking winners, I got to go. I trust Mahomes over Trevor Lawrence right now, even though Trevor Lawrence is hot, and has all of the momentum. Next on the list, Giants at Eagles. Giants are a 7.5-point dog. Over under at 48.5. 48.5. This one's a head scratcher. This is one that I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure which way I want to go on this. When I wrote my blog, I took pretty much straight ticket favorites the whole way with giving the points, but the Week 18 game between these two teams, I think you can pretty much toss aside. Obviously, we had the Giants playing with absolutely no starters, and we saw the Eagles play with all of their starters, and I think they kind of had to, because you want to see what you have with Jalen Hurts. You have to see if he can go, and I thought it was kind of cheeky by the Giants. It was kind of shitty what they did, just because of kind of the game. It kind of made the Week 18 game kind of suck, but that's one less time that the Eagles got to see the starters from the Giants, knowing quite possibly this could happen. But I do think the Eagles are the better team, top to bottom. The only thing that scares me is Jalen Hurts. Is he going to run the ball? Because I think that is a very dynamic part of this team. Watching Pat McAfee, Lombardi, his guest on there, his quite frequent guest, says that there's 5 skill positions that line up, and that could possibly get the ball. And with the Eagles, you have to account for 6 in Mahomes. So I think it's all going to come down to how their game plan is, how they scheme, and if they let kind of Jalen Hurts go like they did the whole rest of the regular season. I think at this point in time in the playoffs, you kind of have to, because there isn't a next week if you lose. So, and if Jalen does get hurt, I'm not saying, I'm not putting that in the atmosphere that I hope he does, because honestly, he's one of the most electrifying players in the league right now, and that's the last thing I want to see. But even if he does get banged up and they lose, then you got the offseason. Yes, it sucks, but it's one of those things in my mind. It's playoff football. You have to go. You have to do it. And especially a division rival in this round in particular, man, and to go 3-0 over a team is just kind of unheard of. It's kind of unheard of. Andrew says, I'm thinking they are going to take the wins. Giants are steamrolling everyone in their way. I can't see Mahomes having a bad game in the playoffs. I think Josh Allen's turnovers are going to haunt, and that's something that I touched on as well. And he also says, and the 49ers are looking pretty on fire. That's an understatement, my friend. That they are just a juggernaut of a team, So that's our Saturday games. Let's flip to Sunday. Bengals at Bills. So this line still remains at 5.5. Over under moved to 49.5 as opposed to 48.5. So this game is hard. Like Andrew said about Josh Allen's turnovers. Yeah, to me that is a big concern. But the big concern with the Bengals is their offensive line. They're right back in the same situation they were last year. And yes, I know that they made that Super Bowl run last year with a shitty offensive line. But we saw that same kind of shitty offensive line in the first, month of the season, and they looked terrible. Absolutely terrible. Now, I understand that there's, different vibes and different momentum throughout the season, and that kind of leads to the teams we see now. That's where momentum comes in. That's where that's kind of where a lot of people's money's made is right now. And not to take anything away from Burrow and the Bengals. And man, if Von Miller was healthy, Von Miller would just tee off on this Bengals offensive line, and he himself would probably have 5 or 6 sacks in this game. But like we talked about in the open, no Von Miller, so that does kind of put a damper on things. But I don't know, 5.5 is kind of a lot of it's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, and both these defenses are playing very well. But it's so hard to take it under with these quarterbacks. I think that's why you saw the line move from 48.5 to 49.5. Fuck. Give me the Bills on this one. I'll give the points and give me the over. I was really hoping that we'd get to see this potential matchup later, but with kind of the things the way that they are, you knew that if these teams were to advance, they were going to have to meet at some point. And either one of these teams against, now like I said, I'm taking the Chiefs to win. Facing the Chiefs in the next round, I think is going to be electric. And let's not forget too. I mean, Damar Hamlin in the building this week for the Bills. Man, that has to be just an absolute joy, a breath of fresh air. Everyone can kind of breathe a little easy, kind of put their mind at ease. And like if NFL athletes didn't need any more motivation, hell, that's all the motivation you need. And I think this might be, I know it's kind of corny to say, but maybe a team of destiny. And maybe Allen got all the turnovers out of his system last week. Let's just hope for that. But yeah, give me Buffalo and the over on this one. And the over. And to kind of back my point up here, this is from Fox Sports NFL. Hashtag Bills Mafia has been perfect in home playoff games with Josh Allen under center. Do they move to 5-0 this Sunday? Followed up by this tweet from Trey Wingo, who is still alive. Ever since he left ESPN, you really don't hear a whole lot about him. But there's no quote-unquote sure thing in the playoffs, but a home game for the Buffalo Bills is as close as you can get. Since 1988, the Bills are an NFL best 13-1 at home in the postseason and 4-0 under Sean McDermott. Hashtag Bills Mafia. I know normally Bildos come out against the Patriots, but maybe this is a Bildo game, and it is going to be a Buffalo game for sure. And I really don't think the weather in this is going to matter because both teams are from cold weather climates. So I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. But I think that is going to be one of the more entertaining games this weekend for sure. All right, last up on the docket, Cowboys at 49ers. 49ers are a 3.5-point favorite. Over under set at 45.5. And the line has not changed, but the over-under has went up to 46.5. 46.5. This is one that half of me is telling me to take the Cowboys and the points, but the Niners to win. But this Niners team has just been too good. It's been too good. It's going to be nuts. Shanahan and the boys, they seem to be the most dialed in team I've ever seen. And it somehow to go from a very, very good team, getting Christian McCaffrey, to an amazingly awesome team. And all those dudes on defense. Debo is back and healthy. We've seen Ayuk have probably could be a number one on most anyone else's team. And then with Purdy under center, we've seen George Kittle just have a resurgence of a season. And I think George Kittle is the one that is going to be the X factor in this game. And I think Purdy continues his run here, and I just can't trust Dak and the boys. I won't. And even if the Cowboys were the number one seed in this and they were like, a 2-loss team, I'm still taking the Niners. The Niners are just too good on every level on both sides of the ball. And I do find it rather ballsy that they put a 3.5 line, it's 3.5 line, considering Dallas's kicker, which I don't think I've ever seen anyone go through that much agony in one half of football in my life. that was hard to watch for the young man. It was, and shockingly enough, still has a job. But they did bring in another kicker to kind of, I don't know, push him along, kind of do what they need to do. But here's another tweet here. This is from NFL Game Day on Twitter. Which defensive player of the year candidate will have a better game on Sunday? It's Micah Parsons versus Bosa. Sacks. Micah has 14.5. Bosa has 18.5. Strip sacks 3-2. Quarterback hits 29-48. Tackles for loss 16-20. Now, if you're looking at just that, I mean, Bosa leads every category but strip sacks in this whole thing. Quarterback hits and sacks are greatly apart on this one. Greatly apart. And I think the one X factor that comes down to this game is going to be the offensive line. I think San Francisco has quite possibly one of the best offensive lines in football right now, whereas Dallas is they've paid all their guys and they're okay. They're okay. But you look at every position, I'm not even going to say you have to give the nod to Dak, because Dak doesn't have that great of a history in the playoffs. Dak really hasn't done anything since getting signed, since that horrific ankle injury, to make me say that he is a top 10 quarterback in the league. I just don't see it. And once that regressed, the offensive line regressed, we saw Zeke regress, and yes, Tony Pollard has been an amazing story for this Cowboys team, as well as Dalton Schultz. CeeDee Lamb, we're still kind of waiting for him to kind of play up to the potential, like the Justin Jeffersons, like the Jamar Chases of that kind of era, and he really hasn't. Him and Jerry Jeudy have kind of been like, all those guys were kind of in that same, can't miss caliber of receiver. And we really haven't seen CeeDee Lamb or even Jerry Jeudy have that much impact maybe they do during regular draft classes, but we've seen some phenomenal starts to careers. Justin Jefferson, I'm pretty sure, broke Randy Moss's record, or if he didn't, came damn near close for most receptions and yards in his first three seasons. So, I mean, that is just absolutely amazing. Jamar Chase has got to be right there behind him. And, yeah, and then there's CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he has a quarterback who loves to throw the ball, and a coach and an owner who love to throw the ball. And all of them love them some Dak. So you would think they would kind of scheme their way to get him the ball. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm here talking on a microphone and not in the booth. But getting back to this Dallas 49er game, I think, like I said, the X factor is going to be George Kittle, and can't trust Dak, can't trust Kellen Moore. The defense is going to be the Cowboys defense, but I think everything the Cowboys defense, the 49ers defense can do just a little bit better. And we have seen Dak just be a more turnover prone. I think last week was the first week in like 7 weeks he hadn't thrown or committed a turnover, which is just crazy to me. So yeah, give me the Niners. I'll give you the points. And this is one that I think 2Ks might even take the Niners, even as a Cowboys fan. I did put all of my tweets up here except for one. This right here it kind of goes to show you where the league is going and kind of the state of the league right now. This is from NFL on Twitter. Ages of the 8 remaining quarterbacks in the NFL playoffs. Trevor Lawrence is the youngest at 23. Brock Purdy is also 23. Jalen Hurts, 24. Daniel Jones, 25. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, 26. Patrick Mahomes, 27. Dak Prescott, 29. The next generation has arrived. Let that sink in for a second. Take a gander at that. Let that sink in for a second. Now, mind you, 2K crew, this is only the young stud quarterbacks that are in the playoffs. This doesn't take into account Justin Herbert. You can put Lamar Jackson in there. Tua. I mean, there's a whole lot of other, there's a handful of other quarterbacks you can throw in here. But the names you're not seeing: TB12, Aaron Rodgers, a lot of other guys that you are not seeing on this graphic. Russell Wilson. I mean, going into the season, man, we were all talking about how Denver's going to be this juggernaut, and they sucked. Russ sucked. Can't even cook at McDonald's. We've all heard him. But when Patrick Mahomes is like the old guy in the room, you know this league's in good hands for many years to come. And a lot of these guys from, Joe Burrow down have not got paid yet either. So even though Mahomes signed that extremely large contract, we saw Aaron Rodgers get a $50-some million a year. We saw Deshaun Watson get the that massive guaranteed contract. All these guys are going to get paid too. And Josh Allen got paid, Dak got paid, not nearly in the vicinity of Patrick Mahomes or any of those other guys, even though he probably deserves it. But it's going to be interesting to see moving forward how many times the quarterback market gets reset with just these guys right here. Just these guys right here. And one of these guys, Brock Purdy, still lives in an apartment with some roommates. And he's the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. How crazy is that? But yeah, just looking over these games, I am super excited to get locked down in the house Saturday and Sunday and get my fill of NFL football. And yeah, I'm sure for those of you that are on the sports gambling, if you're not on FanDuel, I don't know why. I have an account with just about every sports book on the internet, and they may not offer the best odds, but they offer some of the most free money, free bets, boosts, same game parlays that they boost, and just overall experience. They are absolutely amazing. So if you're not on FanDuel, and this, obviously we're not sponsored, even though we probably should, but I'd be happy to plug FanDuel. But yeah, get on FanDuel, get you an account, and I don't know, it's to me, to me, hands down, it is the best sports book that I've seen. Well, let's do a recap on my picks here. I took the Jags, even though I think the Chiefs are going to win. I took the Eagles and the points, or giving the points, excuse me. And I took the Bills and the Niners. And I on the Bills-Bengals game, I did take the over, which did move to 49.5. And I think all the other ones. I said the Cowboys moved too, right? Yeah, the Cowboys went from 46, it went from 45.5 to 46.5. So not a whole ton of movement. But yeah, those are my locks for the weekend. And I don't know if I would listen to my locks because I've been so cold, absolutely so cold. So take it what it's worth, and yeah, just like I said, get on FanDuel. I guarantee Pat McAfee and the boys are going to have some same game parlays on there. Those are always fun to get on. And when they do hit, it is kind of like a community win, so it's kind of cool there too. But yeah, like I said, hopefully next week 2Ks is back with us so we can talk a little bit of Cowboys football. Hopefully not too much because, like I said, I want the Niners to win. And what an iconic matchup to end the weekend. Cowboys-Niners. That's the stuff I absolutely grew up on. I grew up hating the Cowboys because I was a Notre Dame fan. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, the GOAT. All of those teams they had to go through the Cowboys to get to the Super Bowl, and whichever team between the Cowboys and the Niners came out of that game, it seemed to be an absolute boat race once they got to the Super Bowl. So that was kind of the Super Bowl in essence. And back then in that time period, that was completely awesome. So hopefully that is a rivalry that is renewed, and we get to see these teams in the playoffs again, year after year after year. All right, 2K crew, I'll get you out of here on this. Like I said, hopefully 2Ks will be back next week. And until then, enjoy your weekend. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.